Good afternoon. It is very early Monday afternoon, and I once again would like to review the last week with you and give you a little heads up on what's coming up this week, and maybe just go over a few tips of what's going to come for the end of the course too. So please, if you appreciate you taking the time to listen to this, and also how things might or might not work in the next day or two. I have generally been pretty good about being able to get to grading and assignments and discussions and assignments in the last few weeks. Warning you that just might go a little more slowly this week. I had just a little accident with the. Be honest with you, with one of my neighbor's dogs managed to take a good chomp out of my arm, and the dog is fine. I'm fine. Typing is really tough, and I didn't really get to too much responding to people over the last half of Friday and Saturday. So several of you I did give some responses to. If I did not get you into the discussion board this weekend, it is with my sincere apology. I intended to in every way. I have read everybody's input, and I found it quite interesting. Last week we were looking at the whole idea of organizational change and the organizational life cycles, and Sears may or may not be a good example anymore. Why do I say that? My opinion is, I think, maybe become fairly clear to in the responses I gave to a few people. Sears is in almost an extreme example of what went on in that life cycle. Meaning, Sears is very, very old, and Sears is, let's face it, near death. And there's only a few vestiges left of what I consider Sears. To me, Sears is gone. And perhaps we really ought to consider replacing this question, because, frankly, I think that the final nail in the coffin probably was the pandemic. But you know what? It was the only nail left to drive. Sears really did not make a set of wise decisions over the last, say, third of the corporate life cycle, or maybe the last quarter, but certainly didn't keep up. And we see, organizations are kind of like living beings. They're not going to be around forever. Jeff Bezos has been quoted as saying, Amazon will eventually fail. Amazon will be superseded by something else. And for all practical purposes, when you look at it, Sears, the early 20th century, was Amazon. 100 years later, they're gone. 100 years is a long time in a business cycle. And I think you saw some different things going on. You saw some things that actually lead into this week. The ideas of organizational learning and decision making and how decisions are made, and what does the organization have as an effect on the individual members in how they make decisions. It's a very, very important concept that we need to deal with. And what we really want you to do this week is to look at the idea of learning. Organizational learning and individual. How do you learn? Do organizations learn from experience? Do they learn from applying theories? Do they learn by the seat of their pants? Do they learn at all? Right? How much does a leader of an organization affect what the learning style of that organization is? How much does the situation require learning or new thinking, or maybe old thinking? The thing you're going to see in the little case study we have to hear about this retail store, again, we're back to a retail store, is kind of a typical situation. It's almost the Sears situation in a microcosm, right? It's going to look at a smaller operation and say, well, what does it have to do to regain lost customers? Well, I want people to make sure that you're looking at it as broadly as you can. As broadly as you can means look at saying things like, well, I'm going to put some more responsibility on the salespeople. Oh, fine, great. How trained are they? How educated are they? How close are they to the marketplace? Legitimate questions. What is your product? Has the marketplace changed? And maybe it's not so much what you're doing, it's what you're selling. All these kind of questions have to be asked, and you have to keep a broad, open perspective on what the issues are. So this is going to be a little bit of an interesting discussion this week when we get into it, and you're going to look at that. So that's really where we're going, okay? Organizational learning, what is it all about? What is the decision-making process about? Every day we make decisions. Most of them we make without realizing, right? We just do it. Do I get more coffee, right? Do I go out for a walk? No, we don't look at that as a major decision. But actually, if you look at the process, a lot of things have to line up for us to make such minor decisions. And we usually only think about the thinking that goes into major decisions. But is that, for individuals and for organizations, a reflection of the everyday decision-making style? Or do we differentiate between the two? Sometimes you'll see them referred to as programmed decisions, which are those we are ready for, we teach ourselves how to do, we teach our organizations how to do them, we develop a set of rules. This is how you make this decision, this is what data you need, to non-programmed decisions. Oh my gosh, we're going to go in, we're going to have, a corporate merger. Well, how often? Those don't come around every day. Acquire a new business. Doesn't come around every day. Make a major change in our product line. Doesn't come around every day. Deciding how many people we need for overtime on the weekend. Comes around every week. Okay, so those are the kind of distinctions I want you to be looking at. Thank everybody, honestly, for your participation so far. It has been great. You can see it, though, kind of sliding back a little bit. That's what happens in a course like this. Again, I do want to apologize for not being able to jump in, but I had a few issues, and I made sure I got done what I can. I am going to try to keep our schedule of having things graded by the Tuesday, being the end of the day on Tuesday, certainly by Wednesday for the discussion, and certainly Wednesday or Thursday for the assignments. Again, I want you to have the benefit of the feedback before the next assignment of that type is due. That's my theory on it. So that's very important to me. I think also, too, the other thing you might be ready for by this time is to understand that you're 5 discussions in. You pretty much know what other people's style is like, what your style is like, what my comments are going to be. So I may lean a little more heavily on using the discussion rubric. So always make sure you refer back to the rubric when you see your discussion scores. But generally, I am extremely pleased. This has been an active class. It's a nice size. Those of you who have contacted me with special issues and special notices of things going on, please do so. We can be very accommodating to a lot of things. If I don't hear from you, I can only make assumptions. So that's why I'm trying to be my own example. I'm letting you know that I have a little problem. I don't expect it to interfere, but now you know what it is. That's all I ask from you folks, okay? So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. It's an interesting week coming up on organizational learning and decision-making styles. Okay, thank you.